Hey everyone, it's Kaycienikole, and today I'm going to take you through a fun little practice where we're going to focus on not only opening, but preparing the body for an overhead grip, specifically in pigeon pose. So King Pigeon allows the arm to draw overhead, holding on to the back foot. Now that might sound crazy, and it is a very deep variation, but we're going to use a strap today to make this as accessible as possible. Now, this overhead grip applies in King Pigeon pose, but it also applies to most back bends when you're looking to advance the variations. You can add the overhead grips, such as dancer pose, such as lying on your belly, reaching back for your ankles in a bow pose. There's lots of ways that you can work into more advanced variations that require a lot of opening and preparation in through the chest, the shoulders, and the upper back. So that's exactly what we're going to do today. A series of poses that will just help to prepare and open up the body. And we'll lead up at the end. We will practice that King Pigeon and we'll break down almost like a workshop style, very mini condensed form of how to safely get into that overhead grip without putting extra strain on the shoulder or into the spine. I would recommend having 2 blocks and 1 strap. That's basically it. We're going to start off using the blocks for a supported fish pose. This is going to be more of a passive way of relaxing into the upper back, and we'll get some opening into the chest and shoulders. So as you set up for your fish pose, we really want to give strong emphasis to opening up the back of the heart. So this first block that supports the back of the heart, we want to find that appropriate setting to where not only is it a comfortable position that we can hold and breathe into, but we also want to feel some intensity. So make sure that it doesn't just feel so easy and restful that you don't feel much of anything. I want to almost exaggerate a little bit of that opening, but make sure you can still breathe. So find that threshold for yourself. So for the first block, it supports the back of the heart. I would suggest if you're really tight, start with the block on its lower setting. And if you're able, take it up to that mid setting to get a little bit more. Now for the head placement will also determine how much opening you get across your heart. So if the head is higher and you create more of a ramp, then it's going to take a little bit of that pressure off of the thoracic spine. Now, if you take it more level, so you're creating more of a bench effect, this does help to get into that upper back and chest area, but you still have a nice support through the head. And if you're looking for even deeper heart opening, you can even lower the head so it's lower than the heart, or depending on the placement of the heart block, you might eliminate the block for your head altogether and create more of that rainbow arcing shape, which directs that stretch right into that upper back. So find the variation that works for you. Legs can do anything that you would like, but I would suggest soles of the feet together, knees open, and that way we could stretch across the front of the hips and the groin. We will also target into the outer hips in preparation for that pigeon pose. So as you set yourself up, go ahead and recline yourself back and find that first block placement. It should be behind the heart, but not pressing into your shoulder blades. We want them right below so that the shoulder blades still have movement without any pressure or any prevention from being able to find movements. Now, once you find the heart placement, now, first, before you place the head, let your head drop back and see where it goes naturally. If it touches the ground, great, you can leave it there. Make sure it's not putting too much strain on your neck. Otherwise, fill the space between your head and the floor until you can find that appropriate amount of opening and depth without too much strain. Now make any adjustments that you need to here. The hips should stay on the ground. So if you've gone so high through the heart that the hips are having trouble resting to the floor, lower the block into a lower setting or find something else, roll up a blanket or a firm pillow, and you can use that as well. Now, once you settle, find the leg positioning. I'm going to take the soles of the feet together, knees wide, but you can do whatever feels best for you. We're going to ground here with a few breaths, really start to establish that connection. The breath will take us a long way when it goes to opening up through the upper back. This part tends to be really tight in our bodies just due to societal rolling our spines over in a lot of the positions we do day to day. So this can feel like that opposition, that helping to counter all of that forward rolling motion through the spine. So if it feels really, really tight, make sure you're focusing on your breath and that you're not holding the breath throughout this practice. So let's help to establish that depth here. Exhale, let everything go. And then through the nose, start to breathe in into your belly, breathe up into your ribs, and all the way up into your chest. Hold at the top of the breath. And then open up the mouth and exhale, let it go. 2 more. Slow inhale, breathe in through the nose, fill up the belly, all the way up the torso, around the sides, up to the chest, the upper back. Holding here, you can even feel your body pressing against the block. And then open up the mouth, exhale, let it all the way out. Let's do one more, but we'll keep the breath through the nose on the exhale as well. Slow inhale, gradually filling up section by section. Expand through the front, through the back, through the sides. Once you've reached the top of the breath, just pause here for a moment. Keeping the breath through the nose, nice and slowly. Exhale, empty out your chest, empty out your ribs, and all the way out through the belly and lower back. Now relax your breath. Let it become a little more natural, but still focused on deeper breathing, conscious breathing. And a light constriction of your breath down the back of the throat, soothing your body into this position, this shape. Now, from here, we're going to wiggle a little bit through the fingers, roll through the wrists, and then we're going to reach the arms all the way up towards the ceiling. Take a deep breath in, and exhale, let the arms start to spill overhead, reaching back behind you. Hold here, continue to just take deep breaths. As you reach back behind you, almost imagine that you could arc and open up across the front. Almost imagine you're scooping your shoulder blades under to lift the arms all the way back, maybe even arcing the fingers towards the ground, creating more of a bow shape. Take another breath here. Now bend your elbows, and with your elbows bent, you're going to draw big circles with your elbows, really big circles. Find those circular motions, just starting in one direction to begin. And then let's go ahead and switch it up, go in the opposite direction, still taking really deep breaths or mindful breaths. One more here. And then let's let the arms drop down to your sides. Depending on where your legs are, maybe use your hands to help lift the knees towards one another. Separate the feet a little bit, maybe windshield wiper the knees from side to side. We're going to keep the knees bent with the feet on the floor to help lift us out of this position. So as the knees rock back to center, you're going to slowly start to walk your elbows back, lift the chin to the chest, and then walk the elbows back more until you feel propped up here. Now, we're going to take one hand and then the other, slowly pressing yourself up. You can walk the feet forward, keeping the knees bent, and just let your spine round over your legs. Let the head drop heavy, and just getting a nice little counter stretch to that heart opening. Take another breath or so here. And then we're going to roll the spine all the way back up. You can set your props out of your way. I like to have them somewhere nearby. When we get to pigeon pose, some people like a little bit of support underneath the hip with a block, so you can have it there just in case. We're going to make our way into a cross-leg seated position. And from your seat, let's start by crossing the right leg in front of the left. Right leg in front of the left. Now you can either take a easy seat where the feet angle back, just a normal crisscross, or you can walk the feet a little more forward so the shin bones run more parallel to each other. You can even walk the feet out a little wider, which brings the knees in closer and intensifies that opening on the hips. So from here, spine up tall if you want to remove the flesh from underneath your sit bones, get more of a neutral pelvic positioning, that can be really nice. Let's reach the arms up, take a deep breath in. And exhale, hinging forward over the legs, hands drop down, walking yourself out. And feel free to sway a little bit side to side, just ease into the hips, preparing them for what's to come. Couple more breaths here. You can either stay in movement or you can be nice and still, whatever you prefer. And then let's walk the hands all the way back up into a nice seat. Arms reach up, take a deep breath in, lift the spine. Exhale, twist to the right side. Left hand connects to the right knee, right fingertips to the ground, right behind the hips. Lift the spine, take a deep breath in. And exhale, rotate ribs and chest open to the right side. Maybe look back over the right shoulder to complete the rotation. 2 more breaths, lifting on the inhale. Keep the length. Exhale, twisting, moving into depth. 1 more breath here. Find space, find length, and exhale, find the depth. Now stay as you are. You're going to continue to hold on to the knee with your left hand. Take your back hand, reach it up towards the ceiling. Deep breath in, lifting a little taller. And then exhale, lean over to the left side, stretching through the side body. As you reach to your top fingertips, feel that stretch all the way down into your right hip. So we're just creating space and length into the torso here. Now with that top arm, reach 1 more breath here, nice and still. And then start to rotate through the arm and shoulder. Just start to create big circular motions. Going the opposite direction. And then reach that arm back over to the left side. 1 last big reach. Inhale, come all the way back up. Reach both arms up. And then exhale, bend your elbows, pull them back as you open up the chest and sweep the arms down to the sides. Let's drop back onto the hands for a moment. Uncross the legs. Feel free to shake them out a little bit before we do that other side. Okay, as you sit yourself back up, let's cross the left leg in front of the right and same steps. You can take easy seat. You can take square pose where the shins are more parallel. Maybe walk the feet out a little bit wider. You're just finding the appropriate depth or flexibility that meets your needs. Spine up tall. Feel free to make any adjustments through the pelvis. Arms reach up. Take a deep breath in. And exhale, hinging forward and down, hands drop to the floor. Maybe create some movement. Maybe just stay nice and still. I love movement, that dynamic approach, because it helps me to go a little deeper into my hips. I create more of that lubrication and start to work out any of the stickiness that I might feel. If that's helpful for you as well, feel free to move how you please. Couple more breaths. If you are moving, slowly start to sway yourself back to that center point. And we're going to walk the hands all the way back into a nice upright seat. Arms reach up, take a deep breath in, lifting the spine. Exhale, twist to the left side. Right hand connects to that left knee and the left fingertips drop to the ground right behind the hips. Lift the spine, deep breath in, drawing all the way from the base of the spine to the crown. And then exhale, twist to your rib cage and your chest. Maybe look back over the left shoulder. 2 more breaths, lengthening, breath in, and finding depth on the breath out. Last one here, deep breath in, find the length. Deep breath out, find the twist. Continue to hold on to the knee. Take the back hand, reach it up towards the ceiling. Deep breath in, lifting taller. Exhale, lean over to the right side, stretching over with that left arm. Reaching out through the fingertips, feel the rooting down through your left hip. One more breath here as you reach away, hip to fingertips. Now stay here, just start to find big circular motions through that top arm, and just kind of easing into the movements of the shoulder. Going to be really important today. Go ahead and go in the opposite direction. And then one more reach over to that right side. Stretch from fingertips to your left sit bones. Inhale, come all the way back up. Reach both arms up as you unravel to center. Exhale, bend your elbows, lift your chest, and drag the arms all the way down to your sides. Roll the shoulders forward and up. And exhale, relax them all the way back and down. We're going to grab our straps here and do a little bit of shoulder flossing. So if you're pretty open in your shoulders, I'd say having your strap folded in half can be appropriate. If you're pretty tight in your shoulders, open up your strap all the way. If you do have a metal ring or something hard on one side, I would recommend holding it close to your hand and leaving the slack in the other hand. And that way, when we're moving our arms around, you don't have the metal ring flying around, okay? Now, once again, if folding in half does not create enough space, open up all the way, okay? In fact, I'll do it this way just so you can see. We're going to take a nice wide grip, a little wider than your shoulders to start. And inhale, just lift the arms up and find that point where it almost catches overhead. If it feels really easy, like it can drop all the way back and down, bring your hands a little closer together until you find that catching point. Once you do, open up through your ribs, open up through the chest. Breathe here, one extra breath. Now, if it's too tight, separate your hands. I want you to keep your arms straight. Don't do one at a time. Try to keep them together. Slowly drop them all the way back and down. Once again, if that was too tight, feel free to create more space between your hands. Arms stay straight. Inhale, lift them all the way back up overhead. And exhale, bring them forward and down. Now, if you didn't feel enough, walk the hands closer together to intensify this position. Next breath in, lift it up. Stay in that tension. Exhale, draw it all the way back and down. Arms stay straight and together. Inhale, lift them up. Exhale, forward and down. Okay, we're going to do that a couple more times. Feel free to make those adjustments. Now, if you are having difficulty lifting it up, let's say if your arms are really separated, you might want to drop the chin to the chest to create more space so it doesn't snag on the head. If that's still not enough, then I would suggest doing one at a time. Okay. And then making sure to do the other side, same thing, okay? Couple more times on your own. Each inhale, lift it up, and exhale, dropping it back and down. Inhale, draws it up, and exhale, forward and down, okay? Let's do one more. Go at your own pace. Okay, and then once you have it back out in front of you, set your strap off to the side. Make sure it's available. We'll be using it again once we get back into that pigeon variation to work that overhead grip. Okay, so from here, let's make our way into a tabletop position, coming onto all fours. As you come onto all fours, let's walk ourselves towards the back of the mat so there's plenty of space in front of us. We're going to focus specifically on puppy pose and getting the arms overhead. So hips are going to stay over the knees. Hands are going to start to walk forward as far as you can, and then just begin to melt through your ribs and through your chest. Maybe your forehead drops. If you're really open, maybe your chin or chest drop. If you want even more, you can come up onto your fingertips. If that's too intense, drop the palms, maybe even drop the elbows or separate the hands wider for more space. 3 deepened breaths. Now slowly drop the palms, lift your body weight back up into the tabletop position. You can walk the hands back in And exhale, chin to your chest, tuck your tail, round your back. Inhale, drop the belly down, scoop your heart forward and up, lift up through your chest, lift up through your sit bones. And exhale, rounding your back, tucking everything in, curling the spine. Another round here of these cat-cows. Inhale, scooping the heart up, lifting through the sit bones. And exhale, round. Now, bring yourself back into a nice neutral shape. We're going to take one more position before we move into the pose that we're working towards, King Pigeon. So let's go ahead and lower the forearms down to the ground, close to the top of the mat. Walk the knees back until you can lower the hips down into a Sphinx pose. Untuck the toes. Elbows stacked directly underneath your shoulders. Palms face down, about shoulder width apart here. As you press down into your elbows and down into your hands, feel your chest lifting up. Activate your legs, so feel your feet press into the ground, quadriceps engage. Grip the ground with your hands and energetically imagine you're pulling the ground back towards your hips. As you pull the ground back, your ribs pull forward, heart lifting, creating a little extra space into the thoracic spine. Let's take another breath here. Now, slowly relax. Open up the elbows as you lower the chest down. Hands placed right underneath your shoulders. Let's inhale, lift your ribs forward and up. Heart lifting, maybe lift up to your throat and your chin. Pull back with your hands, getting a little extra opening across the thoracic spine. One more breath. And then exhale, pull back onto the knees. Quick little child's pose, knees wide or together. Sink the hips towards the heels and just relax your spine towards the floor, feeling that little bit of support and rest. Okay. Now, we're going to slowly make our way up into tabletop position. Make sure you have your strap and maybe a block or two nearby. Okay. So we're going to start with our strap. If you would like, you can create a loop with your strap, okay? Just enough to be able to hook around the foot. Otherwise, you can keep it open and you're just gonna need to keep track of both ends, okay? I'm gonna start by taking the strap around my left foot, okay? So strap goes around the left foot, and then I'm just gonna set my strap off to the side of the mat, to the left side, okay? Both ends are closer to the top, so I don't have to reach back too far to grab a hold of it when the time comes, okay? So from your tabletop position, you can walk your hands a little more forward, and we're going to take the right knee and we're going to slide it up behind your right wrist, right knee to right wrist, and then swivel the foot in front of the hips, just enough to get in front of the hips. Don't worry about coming into some really deep variation. In fact, the deeper I go into pigeon, I end up having to back off to get into the king pigeon variation. So just know that you'll probably want to bring the foot in closer when the time comes. So if you want more depth, feel free to take it, but we will make those micro adjustments. Hips stay level. So if you notice that your hip is pulling to a side, use a block or any kind of prop, a blanket or a pillow to help lift them up so the hips stay nice and even, equal weight distribution, resting down towards the floor, which is going to intensify that stretch we feel in the outer hip and glute. So let's take another breath here, lifting through the chest. And then exhale, you're just going to slowly start to fold forward and down. You can stay on your hands, you can lower your forearms, maybe use blocks for support. Try to really support the upper body so that you're not having to use excess tension or energy. So open up, maybe support the head with blocks or stacked hands, maybe support through the chest, and really try to relax into your shoulders here. We're going to give ourselves about 4 to 5 breaths in this position before we take it into more depth. Focus on slowing your breath down in and out of your nose. Maybe going just a little bit deeper. And then let's take one more breath here. Okay. Now, let's walk back up onto the hands. We're going to work towards that King Pigeon, but we're going to take it progressively here. So as you walk up onto the hands, if you did bring your foot more forward, now's a good time to start pulling it back in towards the hips. It still stays in front of the hip, but this will help us to not be so focused on the outer hip and glute when we're really trying to focus on the upper back, shoulders, and through the chest, okay? So as you come up, if you want to place a block here, if that helps you to be able to lift your hands, place a block underneath your right hip. Just make sure it keeps the hips level. It doesn't kick you over to either side. So as you come up, you're going to take your left hand and grab a hold of the strap ends. And we're just going to bend the knee and start to lift the foot. Now, use your hands to walk your left hand down the strap. But as you do, I want you to think about your left hand holding a serving tray. The palm is up with the thumb pointing back. So as you pull the foot in, you're keeping the palm up, thumb back as you hold on to the strap. Now, obviously, the closer you hold to the foot, the more intensity that we're going to add here, okay? So first, we're just going to pull it in just to feel a nice stretch into the quads and hip flexors. So if this is already enough of a stretch, stay here. You can also hook your elbow and pull it in a little bit closer. Wherever you are, give yourself a couple more breaths, okay? Sometimes if you can pull it in pretty close, you can flip your fingers over the foot and draw it in even more. This is just to stretch into the quad and hip flexors. So stay in whatever variation feels right. Okay. Now, after you get that little bit of a stretch, we're going to hold on to the strap again, serving platter. As you hold on, I would suggest holding as close to the foot as you can to start, because we can always let the strap slide through the hand nice and easy, which will give us more space, okay? But it's harder to try to get more and more towards the foot than it is to let it slide through and get farther and farther away. So start off closer and just let it slide as needed, okay? So before we get into it, I want to show you real quick. I'm going to keep my palm up, thumb pointing back. That's what's going to help me create this rolling through my shoulder to get the arm over my head. Now, if I just hold on and I don't let the strap slide through my hand, it's going to feel pretty tight and sticky to try to pull the elbow all the way up over my head. So I'm going to let it slide through only as much as I need to, okay? Try not to give too much slack. You're really going to test out the edges. But instead of letting the elbow wing out to the side as we pull it up overhead, we're going to keep it pulled in towards the ribs. So draw the left elbow to the left ribs. Chances are your torso wants to turn to the side. Try to turn that left rib cage towards the front of the mat. And as you do, you'll notice that you're able to kind of puff out through your ribs and your chest. Keep that. That's going to come in handy for creating space to get into this position. It is still a back bend. So ribs pull forward, heart lifts up, left elbow into left side. Now, you're going to keep the elbow drawn in. Let the strap slide through the hand as much as you need to start pulling your elbow forward. Point it forward, not out to the side. And then slowly let it draw up and overhead. Okay, so once again, keep it into the side, pull the elbow forward and up. Don't let it wing out. So go ahead and get into it here. Grab the strap with the left hand, serving platter, close to the foot, elbow to the side, pull your ribs forward and up, lifting through the heart, and then let the slack slide through the hand as much as needed to draw the elbow forward and up and overhead. You can either stay here, or maybe your right arm reaches up and overhead, grabbing a hold of the strap ends as well. Then maybe lift up to your throat and your chin, open yourself up. You can pull the foot in closer, or you can kick it away and get more opening across the front and the upper body. Couple more breaths. Now to come out, release your right hand first, and then let the strap slide through the hand to release your left foot down to the ground. As you do, drop your hands to the floor in front of you, tuck the back toes, walk the back knee in a little bit until you can swivel your right foot out and step it back. Feel free to shake out however you please here. Chances are your body is calling for some kind of movement. Whatever that is, feel free to accommodate yourself. Maybe that's child's pose. Maybe that's getting a nice rounding in your back, shaking out through the hips, shaking out through the arms. All of our bodies are going to want or crave something a little bit different. So just give your body what it's asking for. Okay. So now we're going to do it on the other side. You will notice that you have a tighter side and a more open side. Okay. There's a lot happening here. There's back bending. There's hip opening. There's shoulder opening. A lot going on. Okay. A lot of the prep work we did today was focused mostly on the upper body, not as much into the hip flexors. So just know that those can also be open to help find more and more depth in these positions. We're just trying to keep the practice quick and simple and also showing what needs to be open specifically for the overhead grip that can apply into all of these back bends. But anytime you're back bending, you're opening up the front of the body, which is going to be quads, hip flexors, all across the front of the torso, into the chest, the shoulders, the upper back. So lots is happening, okay? So let's take the strap and bring it around the right foot. Take it around that right foot. And just have it there. Set the strap ends off to the right side, somewhere available to you. Make your way back into tabletop position. Walk your hand slightly forward. And this time we're going to slide the left knee to the left wrist. Foot can come in front of the hips as far forward as you'd like. Sink the hips back and down. Make sure the hips are level. Feel free to use props. And then when you're ready, you can slowly start to release yourself forward and down towards the ground. Maybe you're on your forearms. Maybe you come down onto blocks. Maybe you lower down to the chest or give blocks as support underneath the head, chest, whatever feels best. Maybe no props at all. Whatever feels most appropriate to accommodate your body on this side. Choose those things that help you to feel more supported, more comfortable. It's okay to feel tension and discomfort, but make sure you can still breathe through it. Let's take about 5 or 6 breaths here. Maybe drop in a little bit deeper. We're just going to take about 1 more full expansive breath. And then let's walk back up onto the hands. Feel free to level out the hips with a block or prop. If your left foot's more forward, draw it in until it's closer to the hips, okay? Now, you want to be able to free up your hands, so any support underneath that left hip can be really helpful. We're going to start by reaching with our right hand for the strap and helping to bend the knee, lifting the foot off the ground. You can walk your hands down the strap, hold on like a serving platter as you pull in. This might be enough, or maybe you're even able to grab a hold of the foot, pull it in. You can even flip the grip over the toes and get a little more depth. Pull the ribs forward, heart lifts up. Give yourself another breath or so here, getting that nice stretch into your quads, into your hip flexors. Okay. Now, if you have the foot, release the foot, but hold on to the strap. Hold on like a serving platter with your right hand. Palm is up, thumb is pointing back. Hold close to the foot, knowing that you can always let it slide through. As you pull it in, you're going to turn forward. So your ribs are pulling forward, heart lifting up. Try to get that puffing out through your ribs and chest. Now draw your right elbow to your right side and then keep it there. Left hand can stay on the ground for extra stability if you want. Now keep the right elbow into your side. Let the strap slide through your hand as much as needed. to slowly draw the elbow forward and up, not out to the side, forward and up. Now, once you're here, you can stay. Maybe your left arm reaches up and over as well, and find that opening here. You can either pull through your hands or kick through the back foot, get more opening. Couple more breaths. And then you can take the left hand down if it's up. Let the strap slide through your hand until the foot comes all the way down. Set the strap off to the side. Hands rest to the ground in front of you. Tuck the back toes. Lift the knee as you pull it forward, and then swivel your front leg out, stepping out of the position, and then shake out however it feels appropriate for you. Few breaths here. If the strap's still hooked around the foot, you can release it. All right, so go ahead and come into a comfortable seat. I'm going to show real quick here if you are doing it without a strap, okay? It's the same thing. We need to have that open palmed grip, okay? So we turn the shoulder into an external rotation as we grab, okay? This is different than when we're like in a bow shape, if we're just reaching back, right? And then pulling in. That's different than rolling it open and then grabbing the foot. So it's hard to grab the foot when the foot is just in a neutral shape. I sometimes turn my toes to the side so I have something to hold on to. And once I hold on to it, then same thing, ribs forward, heart up, opening up and flipping the grip. What do you know? It's there. And then I open here, maybe take the top arm up and over. And then when I come out, elbow in and release. What we really want to avoid is the elbow flaring out to the side or not pulling the ribs forward enough so that when we're turned out to the side, when we're trying to flip the grip, we create sometimes a little bit of a kink or a little pressure point into the back. We don't want that. So ribs pull forward to open up for the back bend, getting that nice stretch and opening up across the body. And the elbow stays in to work that movement. Once again, this applies for dancer pose, for on your belly, for camel pose. If there is a back bend out there, there's probably a way that you can work an overhead grip into it, but it does intensify quite a bit. I like starting in pigeon pose because I feel like it takes it into a more accessible form, but do what feels right for you. Let's close out. Just a couple breaths here. Any comfortable seat, spine up tall, relax the shoulders, take your hands together at your heart center. Take a deep breath in. Open up the mouth and just let it go. One more time, slow breath in. Open up the mouth and release. Sealing the lips, breathing in and out of the nose. Thank your body for all that it does for you. And thanking yourself for the curiosity to try new things, putting yourself in positions that might feel very new, maybe slightly confusing or uncomfortable, but we're learning, we're working through any of the blockages and finding more space and finding more possibility within ourselves. Thank you so much for allowing me to guide you today. Open up your eyes when you're ready. So I love breaking things down, making them a lot more accessible. And if anything, just allowing the brain to click over into the process and understanding the process and the reasons why we do these things to practice with more integrity. And once we do that, we can start to avoid some of those common injuries that happen when we're just trying to wing it. Okay, so I would love to hear your feedback in the comments. Maybe you apply this into other positions. Let me know. And I'm looking forward to practicing with y'all next time. Thank you.